Man, y'all liberals is dumb as hell. Oh my God, cancel Nicki Minaj. Oh my God, cancel Ice Cube. Oh my God, cancel Soldier Boy. Oh my God, cancel Nelly. Oh my God, cancel Snoop Dogg. Dang. Y'all really gonna cancel some of the most prominent black people that are celebrities in our community that has brought the best music and some of the best black cinema? Dang, do these white liberals really got y'all in the chokehold like that for real? They literally made y'all cancel some of the most prominent black people in the community. They literally made y'all do that. I guess if half of the black community supported Trump, then I guess the black community would just cancel itself out, right? You see how that don't make any sense? The white liberals came up with feminism, told the black woman, hey, you don't need no man, you independent. Took the black man out of the home. How does that benefit black people? The white liberals told the black woman, abort your children. They got a black woman to stand up and do it, and 90% of y'all voted for it, to abort your own children. So how does that benefit the black community when most of us was aborted and never born? They told y'all to support illegal immigrants, even though these illegal immigrants are taking the jobs. I remember like I said before, these warehouses used to be all black. Now when you walk in there, don't nobody speak English. And now y'all are fighting for them as well. They told y'all to take up for transgenderism. How does that benefit the black community? Everybody wants a strong black man, but in the same token, want to support a black man dressing in a dress with titties. They literally told black people to not worship Jesus Christ because it sounds like some white nationalist type stuff. So now y'all out here doing witchcraft. Make that make sense. These people hate Trump so much. If Jesus Christ came back and said that he supported Trump, they would be happily lined up to dive into hell. Problem is, y'all don't even know that y'all brainwashed. A lot of y'all say that y'all pro-black and all this other stuff, but you really just pro-Democrat. Because guess what? You'll cry harder over a white liberal than you would a black Trump supporter. You see how that works? You see how that works? I hope y'all see it.
What's going on, good people? It's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless, and I'm back with another video. Hope that y'all are enjoying your weekend. Well, it's about to be Monday. Probably by the time y'all catch this, will be back to the chopping block again. But yeah, man, I wanted to start off with that piece right there because I think that it was just imperative to kind of get a different perspective, even though that doesn't really have much to do with what we're gonna be talking about today. Well, maybe just a little bit of it. But yeah, that brother was cooking. He had a lot of good points. But the part as far as illegal immigration is what we're going to focus on today. And the reason why I want to focus in on that is because midterms are around the corner, and we got to triple and double down on what's going on as far as mass deportation. Because what the left is going to do is try to use that as a talking point to win the midterms over from the people. And we have to remind people that this was a nonpartisan issue up until recently. You know, people on both sides of the aisle were pro having strong borders. They were pro deporting people that did not belong here. They were pro vetting illegal immigrants when they come to the country. They were pro having a structure to it. You know, that's why we have immigration laws. And so, as the title says, they used to support mass deportation. Now they're against it. Here's the shift. And before we get into that, I want to give you guys enough commentary so you can, when people give this false outrage, that you will have enough content in this video to share with them to show the hypocrisy, right? And before we get off into that, and as always, Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use. Tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right. So we can get rid of that. And yeah, man, like I said, I definitely want to give y'all enough commentary here that you can debunk the grift that these people use. And we got to triple and double down on this because we have to expose the fact that everybody was in favor, Democrat, Republican, right, left, of mass deportations, right? And to illustrate that fact, let's go back in the time. Right? Let's go back to the 1990s. We could go further, but just for the sake of this video, we're gonna go back to old Bill Clinton right here. Right? Oh yeah, we going there. We gotta double and triple down on this, and we gotta ramp up the content and remind people of what was said, how it was done, the whole nine. All right, so we're going to react to this starting out with Bill Clinton. A lot of people coin him as the first brother in office. He played the saxophone and, all that other good stuff. But let's get to it.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace, as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Now, as you see right here, the whole Congress stood up and applauded as he spoke. It sounded exactly like Donald Trump sounds today in 2026. Why do we forget this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened where this was no longer a bipartisan issue? It was like a no-brainer. Like, he spoke on the same things that we be saying here on this channel. Like, they do suck up resources. They do take away jobs that American citizens can have. Because just think about it. If I'm an employer, I don't have to pay an American citizen minimum wage. Say you need $20 an hour. And now I got to give you full benefits. I got to do all this other, overhead, opposed to a legal immigrant that might take $8 an hour, and I don't have to give them no benefits or nothing. I don't even have to document that you work for me. I'm saving more than 70% of the cost it would to employ an American citizen. Yeah, they're going to hire the illegal immigrant, and that's what happens. People get undercut. American citizens get undercut in the job market, and Bill Clinton spoke on that, right? But we're not going to stop there. We're not going to stop there. We're going to run through these videos because, like I said, I want to arm you with enough content that you can, as a viewer, can come back in this video. Anybody that tries to say mass deportation is bad, well, what do you have to say to Bill Clinton? And also, what do you have to say to Hillary Clinton, his wife, former Secretary of State, Let's see what she had to say.
We do not think the comprehensive health care benefits should be extended to those who are undocumented workers and illegal aliens. We do not want to do anything to encourage more illegal immigration.
Wait a minute. Back in 1994, they were talking about not having health care for illegal immigrants. We don't want to, have any mix-ups about that. 2003, let's see what she had to say.
We've got to do several things, and I am, adamantly against illegal immigrants. Certainly, we've got to do more at our borders, and people have to stop employing illegal immigrants.
What? We got to do more at the border? People got to stop employing illegal immigrants? Now, she's a big Democrat. You know what I'm saying? Hillary Clinton. We already heard what her husband had to say. Don't they sound like Donald Trump? What happened?
What we need to do simultaneously, secure our borders with technology, personnel, physical barriers if necessary in some places, and we need to have tougher employer sanctions.
Then, if you're that passionate about it, let them get driver's licenses.
Well, we disagree on this. I do not think that it is either appropriate to give a driver's license to someone who is here undocumented. But we have to send a clear message. Just because your child gets across the border, that doesn't mean the child gets to stay. So we don't want to send a message that is contrary to our laws or will encourage more children to make that dangerous journey.
You recently said, instead of building walls, we need to tear down barriers. However, last November in New Hampshire, you openly said that as senator, you voted numerous times to build the wall with Mexico. What's the difference between what you did, voting to build the wall, and what Donald Trump wants to do now?
Well, look, I voted numerous times when I was a senator to spend money to build a barrier to try to prevent illegal immigrants from coming in.
In my first 100 days, I will introduce legislation for comprehensive immigration.
You say anything to get elected.
Well, actually, I have been very consistent over the course of my entire life.
I am adamantly against illegal immigrants.
I voted numerous times to build a barrier.
They're basically just being given a chance to do it.
She got a history of being against illegal immigration. But now, and this is back in 2016, I'm assuming.
People have to stop employing illegal immigrants.
What's the difference between your idea and Donald Trump's idea on building a wall with Mexico?
Well,
Ain't no difference, bro. And we went all the way back to 1994, you know what I'm saying? To illustrate how Hillary Clinton felt about illegal immigration. My God. I mean, if she didn't sound like Donald Trump, I don't know who did. You know what I'm saying? But see, this is the hypocrisy that we'll be talking about on this channel. And like I said, I'm going to arm you with enough content to combat anybody that says something about what Trump is doing now to get it. But we're getting all this resistance from the left all of a sudden. Crazy. I mean, even Chuck Schumer, the Democrat leader of the House, of the Senate. You know what I'm saying? We got some content of him. He's out here capping for illegal immigrants. We got a good video to illustrate what he said back in 2009, opposed to recently. You know what I'm saying? So let's see Chuck Schumer flip-flop between 2009 and 2017, man. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up, bro. You just can't make this stuff up. So let me get this together and check this out.
People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally. The president's decision to end DACA was heartless and it was brainless.
Wait a minute. To the left, you got 2009 when he was pro illegal immigration, pro mass deportation, and now 2017, recently, where he is for illegal immigrants coming into the country.
When we use phrases like undocumented workers, we convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration. Hundreds of thousands of families will be ripped apart. If you don't think it's illegal, you're not going to say it. I think it is illegal and wrong. Tens of thousands of American businesses will lose hardworking employees. Biometric-based employer verification system with tough enforcement and auditing is necessary to significantly diminish the job magnet that attracts illegal aliens to the United States. I say to you that the American people will never accept immigration reform unless they truly believe that their government is committed to ending future illegal immigration.
All right. Now we see that there with Chuck Schumer. You know what I'm saying? Leader of the Senate, lawmaker. You know what I'm saying? Flip-flopping on the issue of mass deportation. All of a sudden, they act like what Trump is doing is so horrible. I mean, it is bad that we have in these situations, like, for example, in Minnesota, where people are turning up against ICE, and unfortunately, 2 people have lost their lives. But during Obama years, a lot of people lost their lives as well, unfortunately. I think up to 67 people, but nobody said anything. You know, ICE wasn't the enemy, you know, until Trump got back in office, which is crazy. And I want to go ahead and illustrate that because, you know, we got people that were in office or part of media that spoke on this. And I got Megyn Kelly right here that is, you know, speaking on, because we're trying to see where did the shift go. You know what I'm saying? And she was in media covering what was happening. Because see, what Obama did just back in 2014, before he left office, he put people in cages, illegal immigrants in concentration camps on concrete beds with plastic sheets, and nobody said anything. So yeah, we going back in the past, and we gonna illustrate this thing here. So without further ado, listen at this.
I remember anchoring in the chair on Fox when Barack Obama's immigration head said 1,000 a day is a crisis. That is a true crisis. Whatever we do, we can't let it get to 1,000 a day. And now here we are with an influx of over more than 8 million since then. That's not even counting the numbers that did come in under Trump, though he was committed to trying to stop that. So now here we are with let's call it 10 million, 11. I know the numbers are vastly bigger than that, but let's just call it 10 million. With this president saying 2,500, definitely 1,500 is fine. We won't suspend asylum, which is nuts. I mean, that's absolutely nuts.
Exactly. See, the difference now is while we have these situations like what's happening in Minnesota, the government in Minnesota, the local government and state government is not working with federal law. When Obama was in office, they were working with the federal government as it pertains to illegal immigration. It was a smoother process. They were letting Obama, when he was in office, letting ICE into the jails to go swoop up the illegal immigrants that committed the most heinous crimes, opposed to saying, no, we're not going to let you into the jails. We're going to fight against you. And now, opposed to 1 or 2 officers going into a jail to pick out who they looking for, now they got to go into the community. And now you're seeing violent protesters and all these different elements, you know, that are causing a chaotic environment. You know, what is the difference? The difference is they don't want voter ID, and these illegal immigrants by the millions are their new voter block for the Democratic Party. That's the only reason why. They don't care how they get more voters to stay in power if they have to bring over millions of undocumented immigrants to stay in power. What do you like? Let's look at Minnesota. You have whole neighborhoods that have hundreds of thousands of Somalians that vote Democrat. So those lawmakers in those counties in those areas stay in power by catering to the Somalian communities there, because they give them all this leeway. Now that we see that a lot of those Somalians had committed fraud up until the $9 billion or more, they turn a blind eye for their vote. And then they get some on the back end. See, all the politics, all this is about staying in power, however they can. And local politics is way more important and impactful on our lives than federal. And now that we got that under control, everybody likes to talk about Obama and what he did. Well, let's see hit Obama, and I got plenty videos to show over Obama talking about illegal immigration. So let's refresh our memory, because he was known as the deportator in chief. He deported so many illegal immigrants out the country. But see, back then they didn't have a problem with the voter base to stay in power. So the agenda switch, that's the shift. If you pay attention, let's get to it.
There are those in the immigrants' rights community who have argued passionately that we should simply provide those who are illegally with legal status, or at least ignore the laws on the books and put an end to deportation until we have better laws. And often this argument is framed in moral terms. Why should we punish people who are just trying to earn a living? I recognize the sense of compassion that drives this argument. But I believe such an indiscriminate approach would be both unwise and unfair. It would suggest to those thinking about coming here illegally that there will be no repercussions for such a decision. And this could lead to a surge in more illegal immigration.
Wow. Whoa. If he don't sound just like Donald Trump. Now, this is back in 2009. He just got into office, right? This is back in 2009. Like, we got to put an end to this. We can't have no sympathy just because, oh, they here and they working and, you know, they going to be separated from their families and all that. They didn't care about that. But now all of a sudden they care. Newsflash, they don't care now. It's all about, we need this new voter base. That's the shift.
And it would also ignore the millions of people around the world who are waiting in line to come here legally. Ultimately, our nation, like all nations, has the right and obligation to control its borders and set laws for residency and citizenship.
Wow. I told you, I'm going to arm you with a lot of content in this video to substantiate the argument that they knew exactly what they were doing, right? You know, that was Obama in 2009, right? Now, I want to fast forward to Obama. Oh, no, this still 2009. This when he was, you know, doing the debate, the Democratic debate on illegal immigration. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So let's pull that up here. We'll blow this up. I got you. Whenever they want to say that we the ones tripping? Nah.
This administration, the Bush administration, has done nothing to control the problem that we have. We've had 5 million undocumented workers come over the borders since George Bush took office. It has become an extraordinary problem. And the reason the American people are concerned is because they are seeing their own economic position slip away. And oftentimes, employers are exploiting these undocumented workers. They're not paying the minimum wage. They're not observing worker safety laws. And so what we...
Didn't we just say that? I just said that not too long ago. These employers are basically using these illegal immigrants for slave labor. Under the, they pay them under the table. They don't have to document what they don't have to give them minimum wages, and undercutting the American citizens for a cheaper payroll system.
What we have to do is create a comprehensive solution to the problem. Now, I have already stated that as president, I will make sure that we finally have the kind of border security that we need. That's step number one. Step number two is to take on employers. Right now, an employer has more of a chance of getting hit by lightning than be prosecuted for hiring an undocumented worker. That has to change. They have to be held accountable. And when we do those...
What? Are you serious? So what about, it ain't no such thing as an illegal alien. What about humans are not illegal? We're not saying human beings are illegal, but they are in the country illegally. If that's the case, they might as well open up all the prisons and the jails. If illegal immigrants could just come into the country illegally and live without any repercussions, why are people in jail? People go to jail every day and separated from their families for years. So why are we allowing this specific group of people commit and break the law, commit crimes, essentially, and all of a sudden all is forgiven because they came in the country illegally? We just gonna give them everything under the blue sky.
Those things, when we do those things, I believe that we can take the undocumented workers, the illegal aliens who are here, get them out of the shadows, make sure that they are subject to a stiff penalty, make sure that they're learning English, make sure that they go to the back of the line so they're not getting an advantage over people who came here legally. And when we do that, I think that we can, instead of shedding all this heat, start shedding some light on the problem, and we can once again be a nation of laws and a nation of immigrants. That's what I intend to do as president of the United States. All right.
Wow. And as you see that,
my fellow Americans,
everybody in the crowd was cheering. It wasn't like, no, ooh, you said something wrong. No, everybody was on accord with that on the right and the left. So one have to wonder what happened. What was the shift? Because everybody loved Obama, and he had no pushback from the Democratic governors or the mayors to go into the jails or anything. And like he said, not only does it undercut the American citizens, it also undercuts the people that are going through the proper process in the legal process to become an American citizen. Millions of people just cutting the line, pushing them to the back when they going through the proper process to be vetted and to assimilate into American culture. Right? So Obama, I'm with you when you're right, bro. And it don't stop there with Obama. It don't stop there with Obama. Now, the border czar, Tom Homan. This Trump's border czar. This man was the border czar for every presidential administration. Almost, he been working for almost every president since Ronald Reagan. And right here, we had him receiving a medal from Obama for he did so much deportations that Obama gave him a medal. Let's blow that up, man. Like, what are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about here? Look at this, man. I don't know if I can get this any bigger, but I just want to read this before I play it. Check this out. Do I got it here? Here we go. My bad. Oh, my bad. I'm playing the wrong one. Hold on. I'm playing the wrong one. I'm sitting there wondering, like, why y'all can't hear it? Pardon the body. Okay, here we go.
Even as we are a nation of immigrants, we're also a nation of laws. Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous. That's why over the past 6 years, deportations of criminals are up 80%. And that's why we're going to keep focusing enforcement resources on actual threats to our security. Even as
Now, right here, you got the man Tom Homan receiving an award. It says Obama awarded Homan one of the highest honors available to federal civil service executive, the 2015 Presidential Rank Award for Distinguished Service. This is an official White House commendation given to only the top 1% of federal executives. Wow. You know, you see the picture right here with Obama putting the medal around his neck, and now everybody hate Tom Homan. Now, is the picture starting to get clearer? This is crazy, bro. Like, what is the issue? If what I'm saying is wrong, then explain this. Why wasn't nobody outraged when Obama gave this same border czar a medal, only the 1% of federal executives, for he did so much deportations that Obama rewarded him with a rare medal? You know what I'm saying? Knock it off, bro. I told you, I'm going to arm you with a lot of information, and we not stopping with Obama, man. We're not stopping with Obama, man, because everybody want to bring him up, you know, so let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. Obama and immigration speech video, you know, and this is back in 2008. Okay.
there is bipartisan hope of getting it done. This year, the Senate passed an immigration reform bill by a wide bipartisan majority, and it addresses the key issues that need to be addressed. It would strengthen our borders. It would level the playing field by holding employers accountable if they knowingly hire undocumented workers. It would modernize our legal immigration system so that we eliminate the backlog of family visas and make it easier to attract highly skilled entrepreneurs from beyond our borders. It would make sure that everybody plays by the same rules by providing a pathway to earn citizenship for those who are living in the shadows. A path that includes passing a background check and learning English and paying taxes and a penalty and getting in line behind it, everyone trying to come here the right way.
What? See, this is what I'm saying, man. Did he just say it smoother or something? Is that what it was? Cause I'm trying to understand why everybody's so cool about this in the crowd. Everybody, you know, a lot of these people look familiar. Like this lady right here in the red to the left. Ain't she a Democrat that be talking crazy about illegal immigrants? I mean, some of these people look familiar. While Obama up here saying the same thing, sounding like Donald Trump back in 2008. They all good with it when he said it, but you know, it's cool when Obama do it. It's a problem when Trump do it. F.
And each of these pieces would go a long way towards fixing our broken immigration system.
She back there shaking her head. This is one of the same ladies that be out here in Congress crashing out. I can't think of her name, but the lady in the red right here. Y'all know who I'm talking about, man. If you know, you know.
Each of them has been supported by Democrats and Republicans in the past. There's no reason we can't come together and get it done. And what's more, we know the immigration reform that we're proposing would boost our economy and shrink our deficits. Independent economists have said that if the Senate bill became law over the next 2 decades, our economy would grow by $1.4 trillion more, and it would reduce our deficits by $850 billion more. And you don't have to be an economist to figure out that workers will be more productive if they've got their families here with them. They're not worried about deportation. They're not living halfway around the world. This isn't just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. Right now, it's up to Republicans in the House to decide if we can move forward as a country on this bill. If they don't want to see it happen, they've got to explain why. The good news is just this.
What? So he was trying to get the he was trying to get the Republicans to agree on enforcing mass deportation. What in the world is going on? I mean, am I missing something here, man? Like, am I missing something, man? The Democrats is all in the crowd shaking their head. Like, yeah, this is what we need to do. Now they, they're against the same thing that they were in favor of maybe 15 to 17 years ago. Insane.
This past week, Speaker Boehner said that he is hopeful we can make progress on immigration reform. And that is good news. I believe the Speaker is sincere. I think he genuinely wants to get it done. And that's something we should be thankful for this week. And I think there are a number of other House Republicans who also want to get this done. Some of them are hesitant to do it in one big bill like the Senate did. That's okay. They can. It's Thanksgiving. Yeah, we can carve that bird into multiple pieces.
All right. So we see that. We see that there, man. Like, I don't know what I got to do to drive this point home any further with Obama, man. Obama was the mass deportator in chief. Over 3 million people under his 2 years in office. You know what I'm saying? Didn't have no pushback from the Democrats or the Republicans when it came to enforcing mass deportation. So what happened, right? And the only thing we can say is when Joe Biden got in office and put Kamala Harris as the border czar, they left the border wide open. And now we have all these people in the country by the millions, not just on the border, but now they done been busting and flown into different parts of the country. And Trump came in because the American people saw what was happening and was mandated in an election to get to clean up the dirt that Joe Biden and them dropped. Like they lost their way. You know what I'm saying? And I want to bring up a video here of a young lady that's going to illustrate that. You know? She's going to break it down. You know what I'm saying? So fast, let me get this together for y'all, man. I told you, I'm going to arm y'all with enough content where you can go out here and debunk all of this foolishness that these people are saying that they are against mass deportation.
So by now you've probably heard about the Trump administration supporting illegal aliens with no criminal records. And at Walkaway, we all have different opinions on immigration, who should be deported, who shouldn't. But there's one thing, at least, that we can all agree on, which is that the truth is paramount. And that legacy media often spins the truth in order to suit their narrative. So a lot of times when you hear legacy media talk about Trump deporting people with no criminal record, it will be framed as if we were the victims of some type of bait and switch. Trump promised to go after the worst of the worst, but now look what he's doing. He's going after mothers and children and hardworking fathers. The reality of the situation is that the Trump administration is still targeting the worst of the worst, targeting public safety threats. But they've been clear since day one that if you are here illegally, you are subject to deportation. In fact, here's Tom Homan saying that.
Exactly. They going after the worst of the worst. And they would get the worst of the worst if these Democratic governors and mayors, like up in Minnesota, if Tim Walz, who would have been luckily we didn't just dodge a bullet, we'd have dodged an atomic bomb by him not becoming the vice president of the country. But not just because of mass deportation, but all the fraud that he's attached to in his state that he turned a blind eye to. But also, the border would still be wide open with him and Kamala Harris in office. And if he would just allow ICE into the jails in the state of Minnesota to pick up the bad guys, when they just let these people back into society, they might be with other illegal immigrants who may not have committed crimes. And ICE ain't gonna just let them stay in the country too. They gonna pick the criminal, and they gonna get the guys and the females that's illegal too. That's just, I mean, being illegal in this country or any other country is a crime. And they not sending them to jail, they sending them back home. So if you want to get something to save some of these people that haven't committed crimes, the best thing y'all could do is tell the governors and the mayors of these sanctuary cities and states to just let ICE into the jails. That'll decrease people who may be here illegally. That would decrease the chances of them being deported as well.
Saying that the day after inauguration, that everyone's on the table for deportation if they're here illegally.
But let me be clear. It's not only public safety threats that will be arrested.
And he goes on to say that they are targeting public safety threats, but it is ICE's job, if you're here illegally, to arrest and process you for deportation. On top of that, sanctuary cities actually cause more collateral arrests, more arrests of illegals who have no criminal convictions. And here's how that happens. Sanctuary cities refuse to cooperate with ICE. So when they have someone in custody who's here illegally and has been picked up on an offense, instead of calling up ICE and saying, hey, we've got this person in detention, we're going to release him at this date and time, why don't you send a couple agents to come pick him up? They don't do that. Instead, they release the public safety threat back into the community, which is unsafe for everyone. But ICE isn't just going to forget about that suspect. ICE is aware of these illegals. Last year, ICE reported that there were at least 435,000 illegal aliens with criminal convictions who were roaming the country. And that's at least. They're aware that these people exist. They know who these people are. And they're not going to forget about them just because sanctuary cities refuse to cooperate. So now, instead of sending 1 or 2 agents to the detention center to pick up the suspect, they have to send in groups of agents to the sanctuary city, to the community, in order to find the suspect or suspects. And in the process of looking for those individuals, they're going to come across a lot more individuals who are here illegally but don't have criminal convictions. But again, it's their job to arrest and process them for deportation. It is not their job to look the other way and pretend that they don't see it. So because
exactly
sanctuary cities refuse to cooperate, they end up with more ICE agents in their communities. When ICE showed up on June 6th in Los Angeles, they were here to bust a garment warehouse that was actually a money laundering operation, and they arrested multiple individuals who are public safety threats. And you can see that on DHS.gov. They were not here to bust the mom and the dad and the children. On top of that, everything that you hear the media talk about when it comes to Donald Trump, that is something that Obama did for 8 years, and mostly no one cared. Here's Time magazine reporting that 2/3 of the people that Obama deported had no criminal records. In fact, Obama went so far as to reverse a Bush-era policy. If you were picked up on a nonviolent offense and you were here illegally, Bush just had you deported. He didn't charge you. In 90% of the cases where someone is here illegally and committed a nonviolent offense like a traffic violation, Obama decided that they were not only going to deport you, but also charge you. And that results in you being unable to enter the country for 5 years. Okay, here's the ACLU reporting that 65% of the people that Obama deported in a single year had no criminal convictions. In fact, the ACLU reported on a lot that Obama did that sounds kind of familiar to the reporting that we're hearing now. Here's the ACLU saying that Obama relied heavily on things called reinstatements and expedited removal. Expedited removal was signed into law by Bill Clinton, and it allows for the speedy removal of people without them seeing an immigration judge. So instead of going before a judge and pleading your case, you actually get deported by an immigration official. You don't even have a lawyer. Okay, that's something that Bill Clinton signed into law and Obama used heavily. Here's the ACLU.
Wow. Oh, so 2 Democrats. She just said Bill Clinton, we saw earlier in this video, signed into law, and Obama used that law all the time. You know what I'm saying? So where was the outrage for them?
Reporting that in a single year, 70% of the people that Obama deported were deported under expedited removal or reinstatements of old orders. Here's Pew Research saying that in a single year, 83% of the people that Obama deported did not get a hearing in front of a judge. Here's the ACLU saying that Obama was denying asylum seekers the right to plead their case in front of an immigration judge in a federal court. And here's the ACLU even saying that Obama was having children represent themselves in immigration court. I'm not saying that any of this is good or bad. I'm simply saying that it happened and the media mostly ignored it because it was Obama. But here we have Trump in office and everything he does is awful and evil. And so the media is ignoring nothing and in fact, even spinning it to suit their narrative. They are programming you for selective outrage. You can think whatever you want about immigration, who we should go after, who should be allowed to stay, how we should handle this, but you at least should know the truth and that you are being manipulated.
Exactly. Now she knelt it on its head right there. You are being manipulated. And that should take you off more than anything. It's like, why y'all sitting up here with all this propaganda to try to make me look at a situation a certain way? You know what I'm saying? That's not cool. That's the thing that's the grift right there that should take you off, because y'all signed this stuff and a lot of this stuff in the law that Trump doing. And this is like all of us that's of age, you know what I'm saying, should be able to remember. But it's social programming by the media, propaganda and false narratives, right? And before I get up out of here, I want to play one more video. And this is Fox News they about to illustrate the point to further drive this home. I told you I'm gonna arm you with a lot of great commentary and a lot of content to be able to debunk these false narratives about mass deportation.
That was Democrat Eric Swalwell saying if he's elected governor of California, he's somehow going to take away the driver's licenses for ICE. And that's against the law and it's unconstitutional. Plus, he's claiming he's going to prosecute them. And then that was top Trump official Stephen Miller saying ICE officers face death threats every day as Democrats side with criminal organizations. Look who's here, the host of the terrific Larry Elder Show, the one and only host, Larry Elder. Larry, it's great to see you. First, what do you make of Eric Swalwell here? He's citing his work on Trump-Russia with Adam Schiff as his bona fides. What do you think?
Well, I think we ought to consider the source. He's one of these brain-dead, Trump derangement syndrome infected Democrats. But Liz, the bigger picture is this. I recently read an article in which the then acting ICE director under Obama explained why you didn't have this kind of drama during his administration, when, as you know, Obama deported twice as many people as Trump has deported so far. And he concedes that the best place to find these illegal aliens are in jails, in prisons, and we were given access to jails and prisons. He also said the explosion
under Obama.
See, a lot of these people that work for ICE for Trump work for Obama. They still, working as ICE agents. They don't care who the president is. They just got a job to do. You know what I'm saying? But the media got you hating one president over the other when they did the same thing. Even Obama did it better, because he was met with zero resistance. So here's an ICE agent, like basically telling you, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? They let us in the jails under Obama, so that was easy. We just go get a donut, you know, go to Dunkin' Donuts, take a ride up to the jail. You know, me and the homie, we go in there and pick up the illegal immigrants and bounce. You know what I'm saying? Take them back to their country, you know? You know? But with Trump, you know, we got to be out here fighting protesters and, you know, people throwing uh, frozen water bottles at us, blowing whistles in our face. We all in the community looking for them, going door to door, and, you know, people running up, having the FA or FO. I mean, it's just crazy.
Under Obama. He also said the explosion of sanctuary jurisdictions, cities, and states started because of Obama. And this was without 5, 10, 15 million, I think around 15 million illegal aliens allowed in the country intentionally in the last 4 years. So Obama was allowed to have access to the jails and prisons. Obama did not have the resistance because they had this kind of access, didn't have to put people in the streets. And this was without the infusion of millions of people, of illegal aliens coming during the last 4 years of the Biden administration. So it's night and day because of the way ICE was allowed to go to jails and prisons during the Obama years.
Yeah, and so you didn't see the action on the streets. That's what's going on. The action on the streets now because of ICE arrests and deportations, when it was done behind the scenes in jails, as even Democrat officials allowed ICE in jails under the Obama White House. But, you know, here's the other thing. The other story is Eric Swalwell faces a lot of trouble from a new lawsuit filed by conservative filmmaker Joel Gilbert. He says Swalwell cannot run for governor of California. Why? Because Swalwell doesn't live in California.
All right, so they offered to something else, but I just wanted to get Larry Elder right there as he broke that down. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't erase history. You know, you can't rewrite history either. You know, and I think that it's imperative for those of us that have common sense, that are content creators, to keep driving this home, because midterms are around the corner. And if they are able to grift the American people to believe that mass deportations under Donald Trump is any different than any other president, then, you know, they can use that as propaganda to make people believe they have to vote for the Democratic Party because it's so evil, when actually the Democratic Party implemented a lot of the laws that Donald Trump is using to create mass deportation. It's protecting the ICE agents, you know what I'm saying, from to do their job. This is government sanctioned occupation, you know, because we are a land of law. So let's keep the pressure on. I told you I was going to arm you with enough content. You know, we got to keep the pressure going. Midterms around the corner. If the Democrats get in power, they going to dismantle everything that Trump has done that they can. You know, and then we're going to be right back to square one. And the border going to eventually be open again, and people going to have access to do whatever they want to do without any law and order. But it's your boy Jay Taylor. Tell me what you think. We love y'all. Peace and blessings. Until next time, we shall see you soon. Much love.